Okay then, everybody, welcome to XLR. We've got round 11 of the Tier 2 season at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And it's a full qualifying session ahead of the 18 drivers. Should have the full 20 later on. But for the time being then, it's just the 18. I should at some point be joined by Solid Elite, but he is currently... I think he's died. So, for the time being, you'll just have to put up with my voice for the first few minutes. Until we get any updates on him. That being said, I forgot to turn up my volume, which I was going to do earlier. Alright, so there's a few cars heading out onto the circuit. First one then is A-Games in the Alpha Tauri. On his way out, also got Perkins there, and there's a Ferrari stopping in the pit lane. So A-Games is on his way out on the outlap. We've received a few number of messages. There's not a few number of messages, just a few sentences in one message. From Solid Elite, but we are now just with A-Games heading his way down round turn 10, completely flat out, but still a corner, and he's just on his way down onto the strip, where he will be just getting ready to begin his first run of the session. As we have had a retirement there already from the Alfa Romeo, ZK, he's gone into the wall there on his outlap. He's just gone straight into the wall. His pedal died apparently. We have A-Game just beginning the first run of the Q1 session, putting his Alpha Tauri into that first corner now. He just gets it rotated before getting back on the power round these two corners, which are 3 and 4. Now he's down for the first of 3 DRS straights in towards the 90-degree right of turn 5. He gets his car stopped. He gets it chucked in for the corner for accelerating again. Now onto the braking point here, round past the sphere. It takes quite a lot of curb there. Gets a bit of understeer from it as well, but he's kept his lap going and legal within the white lines. So he's now going around turn 10 now. It's 44.7 in that first sector from the Alpha Tauri. Now into turn... Oh, Jamie Cash retires. I'm not sure if I think he might have had a qualifying ban. Anyway, A-Game's down this famous strip now. Just completely flat out down into turn 14. No, that Solid Fraud is not here. No, just chucking it through that final sector. Gets back on the power again for the Alpha Tauri driver. Got our 19th of 20 drivers join the session now, and up the line for A-Games does a 33.5 for the first run of Q1, and then behind him is Jerry. Gets a bit out of shape there by the looks of things on the exit of the chicane. So he comes up to the line now in the Ferrari, and he puts that car to the top of the timing sheets by 0.2 of a second. Perkins on the full wets. Honestly, that's quite impressive to only be 10 seconds off on that full wet compound. Jamie Dodge is on his way in. I think invalidates his time. Jay-Z into third, but then he's beaten by a Power who slots in just ahead of him into third. And then it's the Haas of Kyle coming around the final couple of corners. Gets on the power And then up to the line, he goes into P3. Not bad at all from Kyle. Then it's the Alpine of Rocky, goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 32.7. But that is done on the soft compound tyre. Then it is, I believe, up to the line. Yes, it is, into P3, 33.4. That's not bad at all from as he ends up locking his roots and spinning. Mr. Business has retired and been disconnected. Or the other way around, disconnected and been retired. Which is an unfortunate bug in the game. And he's not going to be able to set a time. He's the championship leader as well, I believe, at this stage. And he's not going to be setting a time in Q1. Thanks to just issues of the game. And that's so unfortunate for him as well. Just as Unitos goes into P2 at 32.9. That was done on the soft as well. Jay-Z going into third with 33.3. And then Dan in second place, 32.8. First time reserving for us today. Got Max on a flying lap. I think he is the only car currently pushing. And that's, I think Chavi just starting a new lap as well. There's a Mercedes there going at vague pace down the strip. That's on, but he's 6 seconds down on his time. So he won't be improving. So it's on. As Max down the strip at this stage. So he will be to set his first time of the session. Going down into the last chicane now. Just gets back on the power now. And then he's going to chuck it up to the line. Where Max goes into P11. Can only beat Perkins there, who did her run on the wet tire, sorry. As coming out on the softs now. So, should be quite a significant improvement from the McLaren driver. Jeremy Dodge also beginning a flying lap. We've also got Oxy on an outlap there. I think he's the only one. Actually, no, we have Joey in the Ferrari. Coming around the final corner now. Up to the line he goes. He's not improving that. I think he may just be beginning a new flying lap here. So if he was, that's quite a big mistake there. To be continuing on. Kyle will just be on his way in by the looks of it. Yes, he starts to back off before the end of the straight. Octi around the final corner will be about to begin a new lap. Then we got Jeremy Dodge on the strip, just coming toward the end of one now. Gets a bit of a tow from that McLaren ahead of him. And now he comes blasting all the way down the strip. Down into that final chicane of turn 14, 15 and 16. So 110.6 in those first two sectors for the Alfa Romeo driver. He goes quite wide of the apex there in turn 14, but he gets back on the power. It should have cost him too much, but there will still be time in this lap. So he comes up to the line, and he improves to P4. Only P4. You'd expect quite a bit better. But he could only manage fourth there. He got frosted cheese on an outlap. So that's Octi coming onto the strip now. I believe he's the only one. So that's just a power going slowly. So Octi down into the final few corners now. So with a 1:11.8 in that middle sector. So he comes into the final few corners now. Gets back on the barrier again, a bit out of shape through that final chicane, but he gets back on the power, and up the line goes the Red Bull driver, and he puts his car into P10, which could be enough to see him through, but it will be quite tight for that Q2 spot. Obviously there are drivers behind that you'd expect to improve, but you can't quite tell for sure. And as a Paro just starting a lap, as is his teammate, don't think either of them will be taking too many risks here on the track. So Octi on an in-lap. Javi is not improving either. He'll probably be on his way in. Footface just starting a lap as well. But Frosty down the strip now. In the middle sector, it's an 11.3. It's not ideal, but it should get the job done. Should be enough to get into Q2, sorry, should I say. As he comes into the final corner now for the Williams driver. And his car goes into P9, 33.7 on the medium compound 2. That's not bad at all. The Paro just down the strip now as well. He's not deploying ERS on this lap. So a Paro likely going and getting. Jeremy Dodge retires from the session in P3. So a Paro won't be improving this time around. And Footface is actually 3 tenths down in that first sector. So he comes to the end of the middle sector, where we find he's still about 3 tenths down. So unless he's got a load of time in this final sector, Footface likely won't be improving here. Oh no! And he won't be improving. That's a big slide. Lucky to keep it out of the wall there, to be fair. But in comes the Aston Martin driver, unable to improve on his lap. There's Jerry going. Jerry's going for a very long stint on these tyres. Not entirely sure what his idea is here. But he does seem to be finally coming into the pits, as Unitas also retires from the session. Jerry does come into the pit lane then. And on the track is the Haas car of Kyle. Just starting like this. Frosted Cheese who's on his way in. So Kyle just beginning a lap. He's the only one at this stage on the circuit at all. He should be able to get through with that lap, but it won't be guaranteed for him. So he comes down into turn 5, sorry, now. But this lap should be good enough for Kyle, but you never quite can tell. He's heading his way around the sphere now, before he gets back on the power again, in towards turn 10, 11 and 12. And 6 tenths up there in that first sector. So good improvement so far from Kyle. So he goes very wide at turn 12. And that's going to cost him a lot of time on this exit all the way down into turn 14. That will keep costing him on his delta this entire straight as he comes to the middle sector split now, but he does remain 7 tenths up on his time, so it may not be a problem in the end for Kyle. So he's around just into the final corner now, and the Haas car will put himself up into P5 on the soft tyres, which is a solid lap for Kyle with a 33.0. Octi just on his way out. And he will be the only one on the circuit at this stage. So yeah, Octi just on an out lap. No one else currently on a lap. I don't know where Mr. Solid Elite is. There's a chance he'll be here at some point. My phone's just giving me a notification that he's posted on Instagram. I don't know how soon that one was. Anyway, Octi is just going into the final chicane now to begin. Just to begin what will be probably his final run of the session, coming around the final corner to start his lap. And into turn 1 goes the Red Bull driver. 3 gets back on the power again. And just flicks his car through these corners of 3 and 4 now. Back on the power. Heading down a fairly short straight into turn 5. Where he gets on the brakes, gets it chucked in. Hits his apex and nicely gets back on the power again. Now he's round into 6. Down towards 7. Going right up the edge, misses his apex there in turn 7. That will cost him quite a bit of time, although this lap won't matter in the end for the Red Bull. Saying around the quick flick of turn 10, and then 11 and 12. Now into 11, into 12 now for Octi. His apex is a lot nicer than Kyle did just a few minutes ago, and now he's blasting all the way down the strip here into turn 14. And now just all the way, just blasting his car down, almost reaching 360 kilometers an hour. 3 chucks it back into turn 14, 15 and 16. Back on the power again. Then it'll close the line shortly for a time that will put him in. Doesn't actually gain him any ground. A half a tenth improvement, and Octi remains in P12, and it's just him and left in the session. I don't think as retired, so it is just Octi left. So eventually, he'll get back round, and then we can go on to Q2. There we go then, Q1 has come to a close, and it's topped by Rocky, followed by Dan, who did it on the medium compound as well. And then followed by Untos, Jammy, Dodge, and then Kyle. Then the top 10 rounded off by Jay-Z, Cherry, Agams, and Frosted Cheese. Followed by Footface, Octi, Aparo, Max, and Perkins getting through on the wets. Then knocked out was Jammy Cash, Keyplang, Mr. Business, and ZK. And on to Q2 we go then. And on to Q2 we go. And off the cars will begin to go, though no one is on their way out just yet. And Perkins going out on the hard compound, because why would she ever do anything normally? And out on the track she goes, but in front of her goes the AlphaTauri of Williams, who again will be the first one on the track, just like he was in Q1. Although Perkins going right the way around the outside to get ahead. And now there's an Aston Martin that wants to get a move on there by the looks of things. That being Unitos in P4. Not that any of these positions matter at this stage. Unitos wanting to get himself slightly further up in the queue. So, I think it will be Perkins still, unless she properly backs off down the strip here. So, Perkins will then be the first to begin a flying lap, although she will have Unitos close for company. Is the Aston Martin actually going to go through here? I can't tell. He looks like he wants to. And indeed, so it will actually be the Aston Martin of Unitos to be the first to set a time. She just comes around the final chicane to begin his first lap now. He's deploying ERS down this fairly long straight into turn 1 with like a curved straight here. He begins the first run of Q2 into turn 1. He goes slightly missing that inside curb, but that shouldn't be too costly for him. Now round 3 and 4 for getting back on the power again. DRS enabled quite quickly here after that corner. Now he's going back on the power again in towards turn 5. He gets on the brakes, gets it turned in, and then he accelerates again, heading into the middle sector now around the sphere. Goes slightly wide with a bit of a lock up there into 7. But he does keep the car going, still just about hits that apex before he goes blasting down towards that final sector now into 10, then 11 and 12. And then the exit is so important off this corner of turn 12, and he gets back on the power again. Actually, my track map is inaccurate compared to the F1 game, just looking at it here. He's still got a way to go until the end of that middle sector, where he sets a 1 minute 10.6 in those first 2 sectors. Just a few more corners to go for the Aston Martin. Just really got to keep it going and in a straight line. It could be quite a decent lap from Unitos here. Just around the final corner now for the Aston Martin driver, who puts his car onto a 132.9, followed by Perkins on the 34.4 on the hard tyres, AM 34.0. He did that on the soft though. Jeremy Gold's 33.0 also on those softs. Then it's Jeremy around the final corner, 32.3 from the Ferrari driver. Not bad at all, as he goes about 3/10 clear at the top as Jay-Z jumps into second place. And then they'll be followed by here coming around the final corner now. And up the line, he goes into P6. But he did that on the medium tyres as well, as Aparo jumps his way into the field. So does Dan. So it's a Ferrari 1-2 at this stage. Aparo into P6, foot face, gets himself into P7. And then it's Rocky in the final few corners now. The last one going at this stage is the Alpine who's just coming into that final corner now. And up the line, Rocky goes into P2, a 32.4 for a very solid lap from the Alpine driver. Kyle is just starting another lap, I believe, after backing off his first. Then we got Max just heading his way out onto the circuit. And I think it's just Kyle and Octi on flying laps at this stage. But Octi being slightly further around. We'll just follow along with him for the time being. Actually looking at it, compared to this map, which is the real life track map, the sector is actually really inaccurate on this track. Because this is the end of sector 1. Anyway, it's a 42.2 from Octi in that first sector. Now into the crucial turn 12, but he's gone very deep into 12, and that's going to cost his, just cost him all the way down the strip, just with the amount of straight line speed he can get. Just with a massively compromised exit, he does get a bit of a tow from the Alpine ahead of him, but it's probably not going to be enough to cancel out that time lost. It's only 11.9, sorry, 0.6 down in those first two sectors. He's coming around into the final corner now for Octi. The Red Bull driver just coming up to the line now, and he puts his Red Bull into P10, and then he's followed by Kyle, 28 seconds up to go into P8, slotting in just ahead of Footface. Now he's saying his brakes stopped working, which sounds delightful. I think Footface just at the start of another flying lap. So is Jamie Dodd though. He's a 10th up in that first sector. And then it's about a 10th and a half in those first two sectors. But that would still only be enough to see him around P5. He's going around the final few corners now. Back on the power up to the line from here. It's just to see what the Alfa Romeo can do, as he can only find 6,000th of a second to get him into he stays P6. It's not the sort of crazy qualifying performance we've got used to seeing with him, as Max gets really out of shape on the exit of 5 there, with a massive slide on the rear. That will be costing him some time. I don't think we have anyone else on the flying lap at this stage. And Max now coming down in towards the end of sector 1, so 45.5 in that first sector. And then he's going to get it chucked in for turn 12. As he goes a bit deep again. Bit of a reoccurring theme there in turn 12. Just drivers going slightly too hot onto the braking zones. And then which just cost them so much time down the strip. Just all this way, they're just losing out from that one poor exit. So they now just chuck it into the large again and go just a bit deep off the exit, of the apex there. Just Max, and he's coming up to the line now. Won't be the ideal exit. And now up to the line he goes, and he can only manage P13. Barely ahead of Perkins, who did a lap on the hards. So you've got Perkins into that final sector now as well. As now she's blasting all the way down this back straight down the strip in towards turn 14. And as you would expect, she's about a second up on her personal best already, with still quite a bit of time to be found in that final sector. Gets back on the power now, and up to the line she goes. And then up to the line for the McLaren driver. He puts her car into P5, 1.6 seconds gained. which is a very solid lap. Footface invalidates his time. Doesn't have the fuel to go again by those of things. Indeed, he comes into the pit lane. I got Kyle in that middle sector. He's on an outlap. Jay-Z is 2/10 up into the final few corners now. And Jay-Z comes up to the line now. And he's going to put his Haas car up. He finds some time, but he can't gain any places. About half a tenth found there. Frosted Cheese jumped up the order into P3. And now we've just got a lot of cars back on their outlaps. We got in that final corner. So he's going to go up to the line now. And his Mercedes goes into P9. 1.2 seconds found. That won't be safe, but he doesn't have the fuel to go again. That will start being close on whether we can get back in time. Where has Solid gone? Is my question. He was meant to be here, but he's just not. As Max haven't coming his way in. There's not too long left as well. As Perkins also does the same. As that's Jay-Z going slowly to let some cars through. It would be nice if there wasn't a yellow flag there so we could see how much time is remaining of the session. But I don't think Jay-Z wants us to be able to see how much time there is. So he's just crawling down the strip. I think his plan is to give his teammate Carl a tow, who is on a flying lap at this stage. And he is going to get a bit of a tow from his teammate. Quite a fair bit of a tow, but not. Oh no! The two house cars making contact. Jay-Z's picked up a 5-place grid penalty. So they tried to give each other a tow down the strip, and they ended up colliding. And that is really not what the Haas drivers would have wanted at this stage. There's Om's crawling into the pit lane. Kyle's got to come in, change that front wing. I think Kyle's going to be knocked out here. I don't think he's going to be able to get out in time. I mean, it'll be close, but he's also got to repair that damage. As Jamie Dodge is purple through that first sector. I think he is starting to turn up the pace a bit. As he goes, very out of shape through that turn 12 left-hander. A massive slide, locking the brakes on the entry. And that would have cost him so much time down the strip. Although he is 2 tenths up. I'm not sure how much of that mistake was just connection issues. So he's heading into the final corners now. And Jamie Dodge, where can he put his Alfa Romeo car? It's a 6/10 improvement to go to the top. Found half a second in that last sector alone. Perkins retires from the session, so she wasn't going to get out in time then. But she's got a lot of very solid drivers just behind her. Either on laps or getting ready to start them. We've got in that first sector. There's a Para just about to start a lap at this stage. But he's not on one currently. So Unitos is on one. He's 2 tenths up at this stage, which would seem around where Perkins is. So she may have retired, but she isn't safe here at all. She can still quite easily be knocked out here. So it just takes 4 cars to improve, and then that would just see her out in the second part of qualifying. As he's coming into the final few corners now. And the Aston Martin driver needs quite a good lap. He's only in P8 at this stage. As he comes up to the line. And he's going to put his car to the top of the timing sheet with a 32.3. That's not bad. Oh, Ames could be in for a Q3 place. Missed out on the line. So he's P10 at best. You've got Kyle who's out after that incident with his teammate. A Paro down 2 dents up into that final few corners now. So he goes slightly wide of his apex, having had a bit of a lock up. He gets a bit out of shape through that final sector. And he now just has to close the line and hope it's enough to gain that 10th or so that he needs to knock out in Q2. As he comes up the line, it's not enough. And a Paro is knocked out in Q2 here. Footface as well could be knocked out. Max is 7/10 up. But only it could seem quite close to getting through. Or actually, no, it won't, looking at those timings. It's just Footface ready to go. Can he knock out in Q2? He gets a bit out of shape through that final sector. So he's coming up to the line now. And Footface, I think he just about got himself through. And indeed he is in P10. So great lap from Footface in the end there. And that knocks out. So, well, by a 1,000th of a second as well. So Unito's topping Q2 by 11,000th of a second to Jamie Dodge, who was only 15,000 ahead of Jamie, followed by Rocky, Frosted Cheese, Dan, Jay-Z, Perkins, A-Games, and then Footface getting through by 1,000th of a second over and then a Paro, Kyle, Max, and Octi all knocked out. So, Q3 gets underway then. Not taking part in it. A-Game's on his way out yet again, being the first one on the track. With DRS as well. But Dan does go through. Although it's really just a matter of track position. Who wants to be the first one to set a lap? Who would rather get a bit more of a toe? So Dan is leading the train away at this stage, and I don't think that will change. But AMs is also on his way out. We've got everyone on their way up besides Footface, Frosted Cheese, and Unidos, who are the only 3 staying in their garage for the time being. As Gun coming down into 14 now to begin a lap. And Dan just going to begin what will be the first run of Q3. Hearts, just a second there. Dan heading into turn 1. Just gets the car turned slightly wide off the apex there, but he gets back on the throttle again, chucking it into 3 and 4 now. Before he gets back on the power, DRS active in towards turn 5. And he's going to get a car stopped and turned in. Gets back on the power again. Now round into 6 to round off the first sector. Into 7. Just about makes the apex there in quite a difficult corner. Now round 9. Now out again to set a 44-0 in that first sector. Behind him, we can't see a second time because I cut to him a bit too late. And now Dan gets back on the power again for the long run down, all the way down the strip in towards turn 14. And he's got DRS active here, blasting his way down the strip up to 350 kilometers an hour, 1099 in that middle sector, which is a solid time, slightly brushing the wall on the entry. It's been a fairly clean lap so far. He's going just flat out up to the line from here, and Dan sets the fastest time so far with a 31.8, followed by Agams, who can only manage a 33.5. Ferrari teammate Chowie is the next to the line, who does displace his teammate with a 31.6. And then behind him is Jay-Z, who comes up to the line for a 33.1. Jamie Dodge 32.5. And then it's Rocky coming down the strip at this point. Running the Las Vegas helmet as well for this race. Goes quite wide of the apex into turn 14. Now going up to the line is Rocky. Just got to break the line from here, and he puts his car into P3, 32.4. Currently putting himself ahead of Jamie Dodge. Then it's Perkins round in up to the line as well, and she goes into P5 with a 32.9. Then it's Untos on an outlap. And then Frosted Cheese and Footface quite likely not having any tyre sets left. Although Frosted Cheese on his way out. Untos is just starting his lap. And I think he is the only one on one at this stage, because no one's going for 2 consecutive laps. Down this way. And so indeed it is Untos who is the only one on a lap at this stage through the first sector for the time being at turn 5 into 6. You get hits apex with a bit of a lock-up, and now it goes around into turn 9, and Untos back on the power now. Got just up to the end of the first sector now. It's a 44.9, which is not bad at all for a first sector. Now on the brakes for 12. Back on the power from here. It's just got to blast its way down all the way down the strip. And he cuts to the end of the middle sector with the time of the 1:11.1. He's a couple tenths down on what Dan did in that middle sector. I'm not too sure about Jeremy, but it's not looking like a pole position lap so far. Although he does keep it clean through that final chicane. We'll just have to see up to the line for Untos. Where can he put his Aston Martin car? Comes round the final corner and goes only into P7. Frosted Cheese just about to begin a lap as well. A-Game's on his way out, so is Footface. So, Frosted Cheese just beginning a lap. As he's going into that first sector. Where he gets back on the power with DRS active now. See, heading his way into 5. The 90-degree right-hander keeps it just about out of the wall there. Before he gets back on the power into turn 7. And he just flicks it around the chicane under the light of the Las Vegas sphere. Where he gets back on the power. And he flicks it to the right. It's a 44.3 in that first sector, which is a very solid time for a sector 1. Looking like a good lap so far from Frosted Cheese. Where he gets back on the power down the strip. He's got the AlphaTauri ahead of him of A-Games, giving him a tow here. It's a fairly distant tow, but it will be helping nonetheless. He's blasting his way into the braking zone, but I think he's just about far enough back to not be held up. And indeed, Frosted Cheese does keep just far enough away to avoid being blocked here. She comes up to the line now. He's still getting a tow from A-Games. Up the line, goes into P3. A 32.1 is not a bad time at all. A-Games also just beginning a lap. So it's just A-Games on a lap at this stage. Actually, Yami Dodge is 2. A-Games just a tiny bit further around a lap. Footface going back into the garage after only an outlap. Then on the power for A-Games to come to the end of the first sector with a 44.6, a 3/10 improvement. Is not bad at all, but I don't think it'll be enough to see him anywhere into that top 5. See, they just have to see as he gets DRS open now, just blasting into turn 14. All the way with about half a second up now. It is looking like it can be a decent lap here for A-Games. So he's around, he gets back on the power here, and up to the line goes the AlphaTauri. What's looking to be quite a good lap so far. And he puts his car into P6, only about a 10th behind Jamie Dodge, but who, to be fair, is currently 4/10ths up. Possibly even more time to be found in this final corner. He improves 6/10ths, but he only gets himself into P3. But he missed out on second there by a fraction, a 2,000th of a second. Frosted Cheese only just coming in, he won't set another time. So P4 is the best Frosted Cheese can do. Jay-Z half a second up. He also has that 5-place grid penalty, which may see him drop down to P13 at this stage. 8/10ths up, I believe that was, in the middle sector from Jay-Z. Just got to keep the car going, and it'll be quite a solid lap. Probably looking around a 32.3, which would put him in the region of around Rocky and Frosted Cheese. As up to the line goes the Haas car, and he goes into P4, second gained. It's a very solid lap there from Jay-Z. Footface about to begin one, so is Rocky. Both Ferraris there, beginning laps soon. Then it's Perkins, so yeah, no one is currently on a lap. Jamie Dodge doing well to recharge his battery with the amount of time he had. Frosted Cheese retires, unable to get a lap in. There's a slight brush to the wall from Perkins as she's about to begin her final run. But Untos is leading them around into that middle sector. He comes to the end of his first sector to be 6/10ths up already. That's the sort of lap that he needs. We're only one sector in, so it goes slightly wide in 12, which won't help his exit. but I think he didn't get it too horribly wrong with DRS active now, blasting it like all the way down into turn 14, and we find 9 tenths up now, so there was a lot of time to be found on that exit of the corner, but it's still not the greatest lap, unless there's even more time in this final sector. She's going to come up to the line now for the first of the final runs, and oh, what was that? Can he snatch away original pole position? No, he can't. It's over a second gained, but it's only enough for P4. Rocky behind him displays him into P4 with 6 tenths gained. Then it is the Aston Martin of Footface who comes up the line and goes into P8, but not a bad lap. Agam's there invalidating his time. Jamie into the final corner now, already on provisional pole position, but he can't improve, and his teammate Dylan's about a 10th up at this stage. Can he displace his teammate on provisional pole? No, he can't. Then behind them is Jeremy Dodge. Perkins improves up to P8. Jeremy Dodge is only about 3 tenths up at this point on his lap. He needs a, which would be enough for the time being, but he slightly kissed the wall of that final corner. He comes up to the line now for the Alfa Romeo, and he can only find a 10th. And he missed out on the front row by 4 thousandths of a second in the end. I was like, the gaps at the top are close. It's about 200 from first to third. Oh. So, pole position then taken by Chavi, followed by his Ferrari teammate of Dan, and then Jamie Dodge. All of them within 2/100ths of a second. Then it's Rocky in P4, Untos 5th, Jay-Z 6th, but he'll be dropped down to P11. So it'll be Frosted Cheese, followed by Perkins, Footface, A-Games, and then On will start 10th then. So, the race shall be getting underway shortly. And then we will be having a quick formation lap, and then don't know how many laps it is. A decent length race. That's Mr. Business. Our championship leader has a lock set up after he got disconnected. I believe he's the championship leader at least. I believe he is on countback. Indeed. He's 2 points clear at the top to Jammy Dodge. So there's quite a split in tyre strategies across the field here. There's mediums for the top 6, Perkins and 7th on the hards. Then it's Footface and A-Games on the mediums. Om's gone with the softs. Jay-Z and the Paro mediums. Kyle hards. Max and Octi mediums. Jammy Cash softs. There's someone round there. I think that's Max. Yes, it is. He's been disqualified after collision with Octi there on the formation lap. So as I was saying, Jammy Cash softs. Keeping mediums. Mr. Business and ZK on the softs. Then Hearts at the back on the mediums. Max is now disconnected. Oh dear. There we go. So as the drivers work their way around the formation lap, is when I realised that I am going to be alone on stream, which is most incredibly sad, because I don't want to be. Because being alone on stream is no fun. Like, someone messaged about 7:15 to say, sorry, I can't make it. And then, only at that point, like, only during the break did I see that message and realise that this entire time he's not had a chance of making it. Oh well. So, Jammy and Dan on their formation. That just coming into the final few corners now until we can get underway for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. That amount of water is not going to be enough for a 25 lap race. Oh dear. Guess we just have to cope with it. So we've got Xiaomi just lining his way up on the grid as they prepare for... Oh, damn, miss this spot. They're all just parking their way up on the grid as we wait for the last car of hearts in the Mercedes to line up. Then we get underway for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. ZK also missing his grid spot. Just waiting on hearts now. So the last car is now in position. So we get ready to go. Or maybe we don't. Are we going to go then? Are we going? The game still thinks Max is on the straight. The game thinks Max is on the straight still. Alright. Lobby restart. Why is my PC not letting me take a screenshot? I'm trying to get the results. My PC's dying when I'm trying to take a screenshot. Okay. I'm just trying to get a result. I'm now in chase cam. We're going! That was longer than it needed to be. Actually, no, it wasn't. But it was just annoying because the game, it's just... Like, it's... like, it was 14 minutes ago the start of the formation lap. And we got another 4 minutes to wait. Alright, we've got... How long do we have? We've got another 3 minutes. Right, we are going. After 15-minute odd break period, we were ready. It's about 58 minutes, and now it's 1 hour 15. Oh wow. Patience is a virtue, as they say. Right. And for the second time, the formation lap is underway. And carried on the softs this time. There's a lot more soft runners this time around. On the first start, almost everyone was on the mediums or hards. This time around, most drivers going with the softs. Looking at a two-stopper then, by the looks of things. So, Chavi's on the softs, Dan is on the mediums. Then there's Jamie Dodge and Rocky both with the softs. Unidos and Frosted Cheese on the mediums. Perkins and Footface on the softs. A-Games on the mediums. On the softs. Jay-Z mediums. Kyle and Max have collided again. And for the second time, Max has got involved in an incident on the formation lap. Let's hope the lobby doesn't break again. So, Carl's on the only driver on the hards, Max on the softs, Octi on the mediums, Jamie Cash on the softs, Keyplank mediums, Mr. Business and ZK on the softs, and then Hart is on the mediums, starting from the back of the grid. So, let's hope this time the lobby works. Like, it shouldn't be at the point where you're having to hope that the game functions as a game should. So, Jamie, just coming to the end of the formation lap, and then we can get underway for the second start. This time, hopefully, we won't have to have an aborted start. Then we can get underway as Dan yet again missed his grid spot. Just waiting for the last car of Hearts to line up on the grid. He's angled quite aggressively to the left there. Is the Mercedes of Hearts as Xavi angled aggressively towards his teammate. Here we go for the Las Vegas Grand Prix to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. It seems to be a pretty even start from the two Ferraris, but Jerry does pull himself ahead before turn 1. Jeremy Dodge on the outside of Dan for the second place. They're going to be side by side around turn 1, and they make contact on the exit. Somehow they're both still facing in the right direction. Dan stays ahead. Now Jeremy Dodge has Rocky fighting him on the outside. There's cars off in the background. That's Max, I believe, going the wrong way. Jeremy Dodge has been passed by Rocky. He's going to go side by side with him into turn 5. Unitas and Perkins also side by side. The Aston Martin getting really out of shape, and that is a virtual safety car, I believe, deployed already. After there's cars off in the gravel trap. That's Jay-Z off in the gravel trap in the runoff area. Max is out of the session. It's stopped in the middle of the track. Footface has been tumbling down the order. Octi's got involved in some form of incident. I could see a car in the air on the exit 4 when I looked. So the front two remain the same, and then as we go green already, very quick virtual safety car appearance, and Dan seems to have gained quite a bit on his teammate, but Rocky seems to be the biggest winner on that restart, as he's now right in the slipstream of Dan, but he's not close enough to go for any moves, as pulls ahead of Frosted Cheese there into turn 14 to get his Mercedes ahead of the Williams. Side by side there between Jamie Cash and A-Games, pair of them making a bit of contact as the Red Bull goes through. There's a car in the wall there. That's Mr. Biz, the championship leader. This damages end plates, having made some contact by those of things, going into the barrier as he comes into the pit lane at the end of the first lap. Barely getting it stopped as well, as Dan's right behind his teammate as well for the race lead. Is the Ferrari going to be able to go to the inside? but he's not close enough. He's not going to be able to make a move for the time being. There's a yellow flag. That looks to be a Mercedes off. No, it's A-Games in the wall at turn 4. He's in the middle of the track. There's another virtual safety car on lap 2. It's the second lap. It's barely the second lap. And it's already the second virtual safety car of the race. Oh, this is going to be a recurring theme, isn't it? This is going to be a reoccurring theme throughout this race. There's a virtual safety car deployed on lap 2. We just have to see how the restart compares to the last one. And somehow, after all of that chaos, we've only had one retirement. So, as it stands in the championship, the lead will be taken over by Jamie George by quite a way over Mr. Business. He's only 2 points behind, and then it'll be 10 points ahead. Well, that's as things stand, at least. So, as Perkin and Erntos passing each other under the VSC, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. As Perkin's losing quite a bit of time as it goes green as well. Perkins have really not had a good restart. Rocky is right on the back of Dan as well. The front three are nose to tail, but they've not made any moves into the first corner. Rocky going for the switchback on Dan, but he can't get himself alongside to make that move. As Jamie gets a bit out of shape there, we got DRS enabled as well. It's going to be probably 3 wide down this short straight. Dan pulls to the inside of his teammate, gets the move done before the corner, and on his debut race here, takes the race lead in Vegas, gets a bit out of shape on the extra 5 though, and his teammate can't quite fight him. Looked like he was wanting to. He wasn't close enough to be able to go for anything at that stage. And no battle throughout the field by the looks of things. AM's into the pit lane to change that front wing that he lost. It's not been a great start for AlphaTauri here. As Rocky seems to be right on the back of Javid. It's going to be just a battle all the way down this straight for the 3 of them, all with quite high battery percentages. As DRS gets enabled now, and Javid's going to chase down his teammate, pulls to the outside, and long before the corner gets himself ahead. But here comes Rocky as well. He's got past one. Is he going to go for them both? He pulls to the outside into turn 14. They're going to be side by side. Just about left enough room. But Jerry closed the door while slightly tapping the wall there is the Alpine car. But Jerry does take the lead and stay there. Although it's still no to tell with between the front 3. Dan pulling to the outside of Rocky, but he can't make any moves. Jeremy Dodge now closing in on all of them. So he's almost in their DRS range at this point. And indeed he now is, with Rocky going for the move on the outside. And he gets it done. Round 3 and 4, that's a very good move from the Alpine driver. But they were side by side at the detection point, so neither of the front 2 have the DRS. But look at Jeremy Dodge just caught up right towards them. There's contact between Xavi and Rocky as the Alpine driver goes spinning out or spinning like off the natural line. That's invited both Ferrari to go through. Dan makes a big mistake on the exit though, which invites Jeremy Dodge to now be alongside him. As there's all knows what's going on behind them. But at the front here, Xavi retakes the lead from Rocky, and now Dan is under pressure from Jamie Dodge behind. Rocky looking to go for the move. Is he going to go for into 12? He doesn't quite, but he should have him down into turn 14. It was faster even when they both had the DRS flap open, but now it's only the Alpine compared to the Ferrari, and he pulls to the outside and goes for the race lead long before the corner. Through goes down as well. He's going to go past the pair of them on the inside, and indeed he does on the break for 14. They're going to be side by side into the chicane. There's not much room to go wheel to wheel here, but Dan's made it work. He's gone for the move, but just on the exit he doesn't quite have it. They're still going to be side by side into turn 1, and I think Dan's just going to just about squeeze it way ahead, and indeed he does into turn 1. It's a very nice double move there. Quite a long time in the making. Although Dan goes straight on and Rocky goes back through. But all of this has just allowed the Ferrari to get the DRS back on the Alpine. Pulls to the outside into turn 5, and I think there's not going to be much Rocky can do to defend that one. And I think after all of that, this battle at the front is going to come down for a bit. And there's a car off! That's Rocky off! From the lead just not too long ago to now being facing the wrong way at 5. Perkins also going off, and she's out as well into the barriers. And that's a safety car deployed after 5 laps. We've had 2 virtual safety cars and now 1 full course safety car. Time to XL. And that's going to play right in to Mr. Business there, who was into the barriers, but now he can catch back up. Who that's not going to play into is Dan, who is both ahead and on harder compound compared to the cars around him. Oh, I've got a sore throat now from all that shouting. That's basically 5 straight laps of just shouting. Perkins hit a wall trying to avoid someone in the middle of the track. Where Dan's just had a massive lag back. He dropped from the race lead down to 6th. So through no fault of his own, Dan just dropped down to 6th place here. But all the cars in front of him do pull into the pit lane, so he can retake all of those positions. So everyone besides Dan in that top 10 has come into the pit lane. Octi is one of the only cars to stay out here. Everyone else, other than Dan and Octi, have come into the pit lane. Oh, I've just been kicked. Oh, Steam servers. Steam servers. Not again. Wait, what is... Kick me back to the... Wait. If I... No, I can't join back. Okay, I need to... Yeah, it's totally Steam servers. Right. Right, no, it wasn't Steam apparently, because no, I'm still in. I don't know. Well, luckily, it was under a safety car period when the game died. But what that does mean is that Dan's probably going to have lost his race lead for the second time in about 10 seconds. And indeed, Dan's come into the pit lane. So through no fault of his own, he's just dropped off again. So now Keyplang is leading them. I think Octi had the same issue as myself and Dan, by the looks of things. So that has really changed the dynamic of the race. Now we have Keyplang leading from Chavi and Jammy Dodge. So, yeah, that is just not what you want to see. Dan dropping all the way to P11. Strategy thrown completely out the window. Now on softs. It's just... You've got to feel bad. Pending invites. Right. And luckily for him, he'll be back for the restart, but that's just not. It's just the game. It's like we complain about F122 being bad, and the game itself is better, but the bugs are just as bad compared to 22. It's such a shame. Well, regardless, there's not much else we can do other than just be sad when the game bugs. But hopefully the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And yeah, Dan does now have his car back. Oh, Hearts have just gained 2 positions. Okay. No, it's an illegal overtake. Oh, this game. Just... Are we going to see the safety car in this lap? Or are we just going to have an endless safety car? Because it feels like this safety car's been out for ages. No, it looks to still be staying out. Actually, no, it usually does a bit later down the straight. It had better be in this lap. If it's not, I'm going to be so annoyed. I haven't received anything to say the safety car's in this lap. But the lights have gone out. The lights have gone out on the safety car. Although I haven't received anything to say the safety car's in. But the safety car is in at the end of this lap. Keeplang trying to accelerate. He's being limited by the game. But he does bowl now. And has got Jerry right on the back of him still. He's going to pull to the inside, and long before turn 1, lunges it up the inside and makes the move to retake the race lead there. And he's got Jamie Dodd also trying to follow him through. But he can't make the move just yet. But round 4, can he get himself up the inside? He's going to be close down the straight, but he does just squeeze it away past Roger Cheese and Untos looking to engage in a battle. They're side by side with Keeplang. There's 3 wide further back. There's a bit of contact between Rocky and Jamie Cash. Rocky squeezes his way through on the outside of the pair of them. He's now on the inside of They're going to be side by side round the sphere. It's not a place you normally see overtaking, but Om's made it work. And now Unitos on the back of Frosted Cheese. It's soft versus hard. It should be quite a simple move for the Aston Martin, but he needs to make it work in a place that's effective. As Frosted goes a bit deep into 12th, and now this is just the perfect opportunity for Unitos to pull to the inside and blast his way through. He's alongside. Can he get himself ahead? They're going to be still side by side as being passed by Rocky here. Here goes Jeremy Cash as well through the middle of the 2 cars. The Red Bull just about squeezing away ahead. He's using a lot of battery to do so. However, but he does put himself to the inside and gets the move done. Still on the inside of Rocky. There's a car up there. I think that's Keeplang, who was leading them away. Has now lost so much time. Octi going past both Kyle and the Alpine. It's down into P9. There's a car. That's Jay-Z, who's out of the race. And that's another safety car for a 4th caution period of the race. We've had 2 safety cars, 2 VSCs. The safety cars emerging right on the racing line. Oh, this time we... Oh... I mean, what, you kind of have to expect it at Vegas, to be fair. Right, now we wait for another safety car period. I'm just gonna mute this time, I can't be bothered. Mr. Business is just pitted for intermediates. Not so sure about that one. It does not appear to be rain, unless it's forecast for rain. If it's forecast for rain, then that's a genius move from the AlphaTauri. If it's not, then I don't know. Dan came back in off those hard tyres. And coming back out on the hards. I can't tell if... I can't tell if Mr. Business wanted to go out on those ints or not. That's an interesting strategy call. He probably, if I had to guess, just went too far. But I mean, yeah, he's coming back in. I assume he just clicked one too far and ended up going for ints instead of hards. That's not ideal for him. I say they've gone back green again. It doesn't say safety car in this lap. It's gone back underway. As Jerry leads them off from Jeremy Dodge, and Unitos getting himself up into third, followed by Rocky getting himself ahead of Frosted Cheese on the inside. Now he's got Jeremy Cash up behind him. He's already at 40% of his battery. It's a very late dive, but I think he's just about made it work. There's contact with Frosted Cheese, and the Alpine of Rocky spun around. And now hardened up into 6th, and Rocky dropped down to P16 to contact with Jammy Cash and Frosted Cheese. Frosted went into the barrier. And Cherry still leading them away from Jammy Dodge, went a tiny bit deep into 12, but with no DRS, he won't be able to make any moves just yet. there's a yellow flag in sector 2, and that, I think that might be foot face off there. No, it's a Paro off at 12. So a Paro tumbling down the order after going very deep there. Now is Jamie Cash going to look for a move on Hart? He's not quite close enough to be able to go for one. The K's in the point position as well, which is a strong result from him so far. So Dan gets himself back up into 9th, which it's been a good recovery drive from Dan, and just a great drive in general, especially considering everything he's been through. Hart's getting ahead of Frosted Cheese. Now Jamie Cash on the outside goes for a switch back to the inside. I think he gets that move done, and he does pull ahead before the braking zone for turn 5. But now Frosted Cheese going to fight him back to the inside, and he gets the move done into the same place where Jamie Cash got past him. And that's Octi in the wall at turn 5. But I think we've used up the amount of safety cars we can in the game, so there's not going to be another safety car here. He's in the front. No, it is. There is another safety car. I thought we'd used them all up, but there's another one. Well, a third safety car in, and it's lap 13. I swear they're doing this to make me as bored as possible. Because the game just wants me to be bored here. And are we going to see anyone into the pit lane? Chavi looked like it was going to come in, but bailed late. Jamie Dodge in, Untos in, Hearts in, Jamie Cash in, stays out. Dan also staying out in favour of track position, but he is also on some new tyres. So Dan is now back up into a podium position. Now, he can get past relatively quickly, and then he's right there with Jamie again, with his teammate fighting for the win again, like he was before the game kicked him. So, you never know. Could be possible. So, Mr. Business now back up into 14th. His mistake not being punished as, too badly here. Yeah, we have had about 2 laps of racing here. I thought there was no more safety cars after the previous one, but clearly not. So we're just at half race distance now, on lap 14. So yeah, it's not going to be... It's going to be a long race from here. We're an hour and 45 in. We're, what, half an hour into the race, and we're only a half race distance. No more safety cars, just straight up battle to the end. Or maybe there's 1 or 2 more safety cars. Yeah, maybe they just remove the safety car limit, that'd be amazing. Okay, I'll have to pay more attention this lap to see when it comes in, because the last 2 laps I haven't noticed. Because it's not showing up at the top for whatever reason. Because the game is special. No, that was the wrong one. And just look at these lap times. Like, there's been, I think there's 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps. There have been 3 complete racing laps, by the looks of things, from these lap times. There have been 3 racing laps. And it's lap 15. Alright, the safety car is in at the end of this lap. This time I actually noticed. I didn't say again. So, when is Jerry going to bolt them away? Got right behind him for company. Jerry bolts now, but stays with him. Dan getting a bit caught out there. So Jerry bolts them away into turn 1. Not close enough to be able to go for a move. As there's a late lunge there from Hart on the inside of Untos. Seems to have got the move done. They're going to be side by side round 3 and 4. Untos on the inside. They make a bit of contact and as he squeezes his way through. Now Jamie Cash is on the inside of Hart, who pulls the inside of the Aston Martin driver. Jamie George gets ahead of A-Game's 4th place. There's been contact between Hart and Untos, and that's Jamie George, while the title contender spun round at 4 of turn 5 after contact there. And that is going to be a massive game for Mr. Business, who looked like he was going to lose his lead, but he might just keep it. And now takes the race lead away from Jerry on the inside. But the Ferrari does get back ahead. They're going to be side by side into turn 12 though. This is perfect for Dan as well. He's just going to watch them battling and just close in. He's now only 4 turns behind and had a better exit than his teammates. So he's going to go to the outside. He's looking to make a move on this straight. He pulls to the outside on his teammate. Is he close enough to go for a move into the final chicane? Is he close enough to go for the lead as well? He gets boxed in by Army Post to the inside anyway. Goes to the inside. Then side by side into 14. And from 3rd to 1st. It's a beautiful move down that straight from Dan. It looked like he was completely blocked in. But he somehow found a gap and gone for it. And Untos also getting ahead of Chavi now into turn, in the final corner and up to the line. And now, he's still got to clear. But other than that, it seems to be fairly... It's looking to be a battle between Untos and Dan for the win. Although Jerry will still have some pace that he's shown throughout the races. Here goes Hart to the outside of Jerry. They're side by side. Keebling retired in the pit lane. Untos trying to go for the move on, but he's a bit too far back. As Cherry and Frosted Cheese now side by side. Round the sphere. Frosted on the outside. Becomes the inside. Still side by side. So that's A-Games off 6, that is. But Cherry does keep himself ahead. I'm still keeping with Dan here. You'd think the Ferrari would start to run away, but is keeping with him well, though he did get quite a poor exit off that corner, and to the outside, goes into and gets himself ahead. And with that all going on, Foot Focus not far off a point position either. And here comes Jammy to the inside of Frosted Cheese. Jammy Cash is a bit boxed in there. Nowhere for him to go. But Jammy can't get ahead of Frosted either. But the Williams is looking to go for a move on Haas and the Mercedes. So Mercedes 3-4 for the time being. Looking like it's about to turn into a Mercedes 3-5. As to the inside goes Frosted Cheese. They're still side by side into turn 1. As Haas tries to cover him off on the outside. There's a bit of contact between the two of them. But Frosted does stay ahead. Haas trying to keep his nose in through 4. But he can't keep it going. Cherry getting all out of shape on the exit. And to the outside. Inside goes Jammy Cash. They're side by side down the straight. Jammy gets on the inside. There's contact between the two of them. Jammy gets shoved into the wall by the Red Bull. They're still somehow both facing in a straight line. Jammy now on the inside of the Red Bull driver. They're still somehow side by side as Mr. Business lags through the Ferrari. Just lagged his way up into 7th place. Just driven straight through him there. And now Mr. Business goes to the outside of Jammy Cash, gets the move done, but the Red Bull driver will get the DRS. And now Untos on the back of Dan. They're going to be side by side into turn 14. And Untos goes through into the race lead. There's no way Dan could have fought that one any harder than he did. And Frosted Cheese gets ahead of on for 3rd place. Here comes Hearts as well, going into 4th. Very late on the brakes from the Mercedes driver. He tags Frosted Cheese, which gets his teammate back into 3rd place. And Frosted is going past the pair of them here on the traction. And he blasts back through. But all of this has allowed Jammy Cash to be here. Goes to the outside into turn 1. Can't make the move. Is he going to go late on the brakes? No, he can't. Hart's now going round the outside. There's a bit of contact. But they still all on the track as Mr. Business gets tagged there by the hands of Kyle. They're both off on the racetrack as well. Chavy's having to come in to repair that damage that he got from the contact. And Dan has fallen away out of the DRS of Unitos, who's likely just going to run away with it now. And while it looked like everything was going up for Mr. Business, now it's gone all the way down again as Om's off at around the sphere there, as Apparent gets ahead of him. Jammy Dodge, after all of that, is now back into 7th after being looking like he was completely out of it. Frosted Cheese has somehow remained in 3rd. As Hart's looking a bit under pressure from Rocky. Jammy Cash is going to be putting the pressure on Frosted Cheese here. He's going to get the DRS as well. And I think into turn 14, Frosted can't do anything more to defend it. As Rocky also goes for the move on Hart. Here he goes on Frosted as well. Can he make it a triple here? No, he can't. He's not quite close enough. Frosted Cheese goes for a late move on Jammy Cash. There's contact between the two of them. Frosted Cheese doesn't actually gain off that, but here goes Rocky as well. But he can't make the move on the Williams driver. And now just out front, it's about almost up to 2 seconds now. As Frosted Cheese goes for the move on the inside. There's been a contact between Rocky and Jammy Cash. They're side by side round 3 and into 4. And I think Jammy Cash has just about got his way back in front. And now Hart's looking to go for a move as well. Jammy Cash has no ERA to fight with. Are they going to go 3 wide down the straight? No, they don't. Hart goes lunging down the inside. Makes the move. Jammy is trying to switch back in, but he can't pull it off. There's a yellow flag. That's Mr. Business now. The championship leader has got into an incident. And he is out of the race. And now there's only 12 cars running. As Kyle goes into the barriers there, side by side with Furby. There's contact between the two of them as well. And Jammy Cash is still on the back of Hart, who has lost Frosted Cheese ahead of him. So Frosted has managed to pull the DRS window. Rocky pulls ahead of Jammy Cash before even the DRS activation point. And now Rocky to the outside of Hart as well. Gets past the pair of them into turn 14. Look at Jammy dodge out of nowhere as well. got past hard there by the end of the straight. He's trying to fight him on the braking zone. There's contact between the two of them. But luckily, he just about stays facing the right direction. As Unitos looks completely in control. As he's almost 3 seconds clear. Frosted Cheese keeping the gap fairly consistent to Dan. Or possibly the other way around. Hart looking to be in the barriers there. I don't think he has damage, but he's just slightly drifting. And Jamie Dodge doesn't have his DRS either. So after that bit of contact, that's nowhere near each other now. The gap's really starting to open out. But Rocky has just about got back within Frosted Cheese's DRS window. But we'll just have to wait and see until the straight, see whether he can keep it there. As Jamie, because he will also be under pressure from Jamie Cash, who also looks like he's about to drop out of Rocky's DRS here, as they come into 12. And indeed, I think Jamie Cash is going to just about miss out, as Rocky gets it comfortably on Frosted Cheese, going to pull probably past the Williams. He's got the DRS, he's closing in, pulls to the inside line of the Williams driver, and before the corner, he gets himself ahead. Frosted Cheese defended as much as he could, but there was ultimately nothing more he could have done. He's still got these 12 runners, and I think it's going to stay that way till the end, as Footface disconnects from the session there. There's Jerry Cash on the back of Hearts as well. He's going to go to the inside, into turn 1. He thinks about it, but he doesn't quite, as Hearts goes deep. Jerry switches back to the inside. They're still going to be side by side. Hearts gets the DRS on the Red Bull. That's what he was doing. As now we get the DRS on the Red Bull driver, pulls to the inside. There's a late move there from Jamie Cash, but Hearts still manages to pull the move off into turn 5. Goes a bit deep. Jamie going for the switch back here on the outside. He won't be able to make that move work. So the gap from Dan to Rocky is staying fairly consistent, although Rocky is closing it down. But I don't think it will be enough for the rest of the race. But you never quite can tell. Dan possibly starting to struggle with the tyre wear. So although it's the harder compound, it still is. Like, they are still older. Okay, I've got a moment, so I will in the right foot face now. As Cherry goes to the inside of Kyle, gets that move done. Hearts, Jamie Cash and Jamie Dodge all still on the same beat of time, and there's contact between Jamie Dodge and Jamie Cash. Would have been a mainly ping issue there by those things. The Hearts goes through on the inside of the Alfa Romeo driver, but I don't think he's quite close enough, but he does go for it in the braking zone. Side by side, Jamie lets him through to get the DRS here. And Rocky's now closed that gap to 2.2 seconds. If he gets the DRS before the end, he could quite likely end up actually getting past before the end. Like, I mean, he is gaining, but the question is whether he's gaining enough, as Dan quite far off the racing line there. There's about half a second to Rocky, and that's really not going to help his chances of securing that second place. But then Rocky's starting to drop Frosted Cheese behind a little bit. But then there's only so much you can do to pull away when you've got the massive straight all the way down the strip. So he almost lost out of the DRS there. And I think he actually did lose out on the DRS, just slightly tapping the wall on the entry. So it's only going to be Rocky really that's closing in on Dan here. So he's now 1.1 behind. Hearts gets ahead of Jamie Cash down the straight. And Jamie Dodge kind of being left with dust here a little bit by the two cars in front of him. A power 9-lap-old soft will start feeling that soon. But as we go on to the penultimate lap of this very chaotic race, the gap from Rocky to Dan is just over a second at this stage. It will most likely be down the strip when he first gets the DRS, and then quite likely will get past as well, to be fair, because he's that much quicker on the straights and in that first sector. It's mainly just in that first sector where he's that much quicker, which will just allow him to get the DRS as Xavi gets ahead of there, round the outside into 5. Getting a bit out of shape on the traction, but he keeps it out of the barriers, stays in P10. And now Rocky will indeed get the DRS on Dan down the strip. It's going to be the battle for second place for the end of the race here. Will Rocky choose to go past now, or would he rather stick behind to get the DRS on that final lap? That is the question. I think he's choosing the latter, just staying behind. Just make sure he gets the DRS on the final lap. He does go for the move on the outside. Dan brakes a bit later than him though, and Rocky can't make the move this time around. But he gets so much better traction off the corner, pushed to the inside, into the final corner. Is he going to get himself ahead as Untos goes on to the final lap here? This side by side into turn 1. Dan tried to go all the way around the outside, but he can't make that move work. But that will just invite him to get the DRS into turn 5. Just open the rear wing flap here for the rest of the straight. It's not going to be enough, at least for now. His only hope really is down the strip. He wants to get ahead. He wants to get back ahead. But he's half a second back already. I don't think it's going to be possible for the Ferrari driver. He's had a great drive, but I think this is the point where it reaches its limit. Hartz and Jamie cash side by side around the sphere. There's a bit of contact between the two of them. Hart almost spun round. Jamie goes to the inside. He doesn't want the DRS though. They're playing a little game of DRS chicken. And I think Hart is going to be ahead to give Jamie the DRS. And indeed, Jamie is not. Hart is not going to get the DRS. There's contact between the two of them. They're both trying to give each other DRS. It's going to be Jamie Cash that gets it. And then he's going to pull ahead pretty long before the corner. Dan can't do a thing about defending or repassing Rocky, and through goes Jamie dodges well past the pair of them on the final lap, gets himself up into 5th place, and Rocky goes off at turn 14 to invite Dan to retake 2nd place. But at the front it's Ernst who wins with quite a controlled drive here. Dante will come home in 2nd with Frosted Cheese in 3rd. Rocky, I don't know what happened to him on that final lap. He comes home P4. Jamie George recovers well to P5. Jamie Cash P6. Hartz P7. Xavi 8th. Aparo 9th. Kai runs off the top 10. And then missing out on points is Om and Footface. Wow. What a race that was. As Footface comes up to the line. Don't do donuts, mate. Please don't. And Footface comes off to finish in P12. Oh, drive of the day. I think getting over to Hearts, which is also fair, but I think for me it's just got to be Dan. Like, it's his first race as well. His first race in the league. He had the pace to win, got 2nd place in the end. After having so many issues, I've got to give it to him. But then Untos as well, not Frosted quite so much. Jamie Dodge recovered well, Hearts recovered well. Could really have been anyone. Well then, that was the Las Vegas Grand Prix, if you can call it that. Thanks to everyone watching the stream, and we will see you tomorrow for Tier 1 action at the Japanese Grand Prix. Until then, good night.